My friends, today we're doing something a little different here. I'm actually already a little started, but you know how it goes, this assembly stuff. But we are working on a Challenger Hellcat. We are doing a clutch, going to a twin disc on this, you know, with all the proper accessories. Right now we're getting it all apart. This thing has under 5,000 miles. It is a bad to the bone car, 6-speed, you know, the works. And yeah, we're gonna keep going, get this old clutch out, get everything out today. And exhaust is already out. We'll get everything out today and then get to it, get that new clutch in, show it how it's all done, and ready to go. Alright, so we just got done taking out the drive shaft. Super easy. We had a bunch of Torx on each end. They are T25, I believe. I will triple check that in a second just to verify that for you. Very easy. I kept the car in third gear. That gave me just enough engine torque and compression to be able to get all the bolts out. They're very heavy on Loctite. So really had to kind of work a little bit. Needed the torque and the compression to be able to get them out, but I also needed to be able to rotate it without going back and forth a ton of times. Third gear seemed to work perfect. So we got all that out. We are going to work on our shift linkage, as well as our starter. Several electrical connections on both sides that we have to take off. We are going to take off these hydraulic lines, which have special fittings, which I will try to get as best as I can, and have to be removed from this block. We're going to take this whole block out, those lines as one assembly, try to make it real easy. After that, we will disconnect our hydraulic release bearing fluid line, get that out of the way. We will have some fluid leaking, so I'll have some pans and some different stuff set up, and then I'll close those off with I like to use plastic baggies and zip ties. Allows them to leak in a little bit, you know, but not leak out. They can continue leaking if they have to. They'll fill the bag, it won't leak out. Most of the time they just fill a little bit with some drops. Starter, really easy, really self-explanatory. You have an electrical connection here, that is a 13. You also have a small little push and pull, which I could probably get off. Not right now. I need two hands. We'll get that out of the way. We'll get all these lines, and then we will start removing all of our bolts from the bell housing and get ready to pull this back. We'll set our tranny jack under here, tie it down, pull out this cross member, and we should be able to remove it. I know there are a couple of bolts up in here a little further that are kind of a pain to get to. Actually over here, sorry. Over here that are kind of a pain to get to on top. I will also do my best to try to show how we got those out. Other than that, honestly, this has been really simple. Chrysler had a few interesting things that they did with this that I actually really enjoyed. Rear exhaust hangers have a lip, and you just unbolt them instead of having to use the tool to pull out the actual hanger from the rubber piece. So that was awesome. Unbolt them, they drop on that, lift it up a little bit, release it, and we were able to drop out the entire exhaust in one piece. Super simple. I absolutely love it. All of their connectors came apart really great, both on the O2s for the cats as well as these cutouts back here. You have to remove this heat shield that's above the X pipe. And again, the drive shaft, super easy. You have a bunch of Torx up front. You have a couple more Torx out back. And your carrier bearing in the center, those are two 13 mils. Once you drop those, it pretty much pops right out. I did mark the drive shaft. I like to put things back exactly how I took them apart. So I marked everything. I'll align all that back up once I'm assembling it. Now we're going to get on to this next part, get some more stuff disassembled, and get ready to get going. Alright, so I'm going to get going on this starter. I'm going to start with the electrical connection. Please, no matter what you do, and I know most people are smart enough, but make sure to disconnect your battery. You have live feeds here. I disconnected it before I unpulled any sensors off or anything else. Otherwise, you could get some shorts or bad signals. The car might pick up on something. These new cars pick up on everything, whether the ignition's on or not. So I just try to be very cautious. I disconnected the battery before I did anything. Now we're gonna get this starter out of here. Let's do it. I'm gonna start with these electrical connections. It's kind of tight, but not too bad. Obviously, the magnet on my light does not want to agree right now. 13 mil for your main power connection. And then a small little push and pull. Those are now disconnected, and I'm going to work on these 13 mils up here for the heat shield, which also hold in the starter. It's actually really nice because these are studs on the starter, and I was a little worried after reviewing some different footage and stuff. Of course, it's a little bigger. I bet that's going to be 815. I was a little worried about space. However, it actually ended up, it looks perfect, so to speak. They give a lot of room up front. I'll see if I could show that right now. So they give a lot of room ahead of the starter to really be able to pull it out nice, because you got these two long studs. You can kind of see how long they are. This one bolt. So let's get that out of there. Move on to the next part. As you can hear, Rita's also excited. I apologize for that, although she's just living her best life over here. It's actually pretty tight. I should use a shallow socket, but it's coming out real well. And there's also a there's no nut or anything on it, or at least none here, so I don't think there is an actual nut. But there is also a small tab on the back side for this heat shield. I'm going to pull that off, the whole heat shield, in just a moment here. Once I get this out of here, it's definitely dry. Boom, she's out. Now we are going to pull our heat shield. Beautiful, one piece. Pull off these remaining pieces here. Oh, they are not studs, so I am sorry. I lied right to you. So you don't even need that space. I apologize for that momentary lie and lapse of information. I hope you make it this far to realize that it is not a stud and it will come out very easy. You don't even need all that room, and I am really happy about that. Hold this up a little bit. And just like that, the starter is out. And I gotta say, this is actually pretty disgusting. It's probably all of the clutch material that has been burnt off. I don't know if you could see it. I hope you can. But that is disgusting. So we're gonna clean that up before we put it all back together. The starter is out. That was far easier than I had expected, to be honest. Although everything on this has been, which worries me, because you know how that goes. When it's easier than you expect, there's always going to be a pain in the butt part. But we have this all apart. I'm actually going to take off this little inspection shield next. That's real quick. And then I'm going to start on all these electrical connections, hydraulic lines. That one's going to be in a time lapse because, well, I'll probably be cursing my brains out on a few of that. So one little thing before I get going on all these electrical connectors, just something that will really help you out is to have a tool for pulling electrical connectors, especially the Christmas tree type, or the type that's intended for one-way use. They're barbed. This little tool, or several others like it, make it real easy to pull them out. They don't destroy them. You don't end up breaking a bunch of clips. So if you have the tool, great. If not, I suggest going to get one. You can pull them out with screwdrivers or pliers or different things, but you risk breaking them, and then now you have wires just hanging all over, and that's just senseless. So get the tool. So again, that was super easy. The tool definitely helped, so I highly recommend that. Get a tool for pins. Stop using screwdrivers or dikes or snips to pull them out. Just do it the right way. I have everything tucked away. I pulled the entire harness up over the transmission. I tucked it all up behind on this side, on the driver's side, so it's out of my way totally. Won't be anywhere near I'll have to be. I am going to do the shift linkage next, take care of that, and then we'll come up, get these hydraulic lines, all three of them at once. So we only have to deal with fluids dripping once. These actually have some special little clips on them that retain them in. So we are going to pull those off, and then they pull right out. No special tool needed. Pull them from the block, get them out of here, out of our way, and then get ready to pull this transmission straight out. So I had to drop the car down on the lift quick. As you can see, I'm now inside the car. There's a couple of videos out there. No one really shows anything, but you do have to take the shifter out to drop the bottom part of the shift linkage. It's just going to be too tight and in the way of pulling the transmission back. So it's really simple. There's a couple. You just have to pull up on your boot piece that has a hard ring around it with some clips. Again, I have panel tools. They're soft. They are going to break long before any of this breaks. We don't want to break these clips and have to replace them. After that, you have those two 13s right there, and it looks like another 13, maybe a 12. A little harder to see. I'll try to show it once it's out. A single stud right there that holds everything up. Once we do that, we'll be able to drop everything out, right out through the bottom, and then we will be able to take all the shift linkage out, move on to the hydraulic lines, and being able to actually pull the transmission out itself. Alright, so we got all these fluid lines out. Actually much easier than I had expected. Not much fluid there. We have the hydraulic line for the clutch release tucked up a little bit. That also has a bag on it. Like I said, I like to do a bag with a zip tie. Just like this. So let's some of that crap come out, do its thing. I'm now going to get the transmission stand in here, lock down the actual transmission. We're going to pull that out separately from the bell housing. Everything I've seen, every little bits that I've looked into, it's just far easier to take the actual transmission out and then get the bell housing afterwards. So we're going to do that. On to the next part. All right, guys, so we got it all out, the transmission and the bell housing. This looks pretty dirty in here. A lot of evidence of a burnt clutch. If you take a look at our bell housing, I cleaned a lot of it out, but there is a ton of fibers in here, which again is really kind of reminiscent of a burnt out clutch, or maybe something got in there. But there is a lot of this. So I'm gonna get this clutch off, this OEM clutch off here in a moment. We need some inverted Torx bits. We'll get this whole clutch and flywheel assembly off, do a little inspection, see what actually failed on it, and go from there. It was really easy actually to get it off. The bell housing, these two bolts right here, right up top, you can see they're kind of a pain. They definitely require, I used a very long extension with a universal on the end of a long socket, and that seemed to be the only thing that worked. It got me out past here. I also dropped the engine and transmission down a little bit to be able to get some hands and tools up in there, but that's about it. So I'm gonna get going on this clutch now. It's late tonight, but I'm gonna keep going because I'm determined. I want to at least get it out. So let's do it. So the clutch and flywheel are out, and it is definitely as bad as I think. Check this out. So here we have the clutch. There is just nothing left to that. This pressure plate and I imagine this one as well are just absolutely spanked. I mean, look at that heat and slipping. This is, and the flywheel as well. I mean, this is bad. This is real bad. It's crazy too. You look on the forums and different places, and people really complain about this. I mean, people that baby their cars get, you know, 15,000, 20,000 out of a stock clutch, but people that tend to beat on them are literally getting 5 to 10,000 miles out of a stock clutch. So, you know, Mopar really stepped it up with all their horsepower and the cool cars they're making, but they left a lot on the table for a lot of stuff. I've heard that about several different models, but especially this one, and the clutch being a big one. I mean, this is just bad. So day 2, sort of, really don't have that much real time into it, but day 2, going to get everything going, get the clutch assembly in, get everything set up, and then start reassembling. We have this beautiful McLeod clutch. Very excited to get this in, see how this car reacts with it. So let's get to assembling and get this all back together. Just got done assembling the new clutch assembly. Again, this is a McLeod RXT. Seems to be really awesome, super easy install. Went through their entire processes. We used ARP hardware for the flywheel, all of their hardware that they supplied for the rest of the dual clutch assembly. I'm now going to clean up a couple other small pieces and get moving on getting the transmission back in, getting everything bolted up, and getting this driveline reassembled, and hopefully taking this for a short test drive today. McLeod recommends 1,200 shift cycles before hard driving, so I'm going to do my best to count, and I'm going to tell the owner to do the same thing. But I'd say probably within like a week or so he should be able to really tear it up. Although weather permitting in this area, we are in New England. It is December and winter is definitely on the horizon, so we'll see. He wants to drive it once before we get some salt on the roads, and that's what we're trying to get done for him. So let's get to it. So now that the clutch assembly is in, as well as the bell housing on, we're gonna work on the actual transmission side. So I'm actually just getting some gloves on, and we are going to replace this hydraulic control unit. Actually, let me rephrase that. The hydraulic release bearing, basically a slave cylinder. Anyone that knows that, slave / throw out, kind of a mix of both. Unpack this new one. We matched the clutch with the McLeod direct replacement. I mean, it literally looks like OEM minus some casting marks, but it's identical. Looks actually much better quality, so hopefully it is. I'm gonna get the old one off now and get this one on. Should take literally 5 minutes, if that. Two 13mm bolts, slide it off, put the new one on after checking the shaft, making sure everything is nice and clean, and then back on with the new one, tighten it up, torque to spec. Let's get this transmission on this car. Alright, so we have the transmission in. We have the cross member all set up. That is all in place, nice and tight. Everything's torqued down the way it should be. I am going to start working on electrical and hydraulic connections, getting that all set up, getting the starter in, getting everything finalized and hooked up, and hopefully have this finished up tonight. I've had a few little distractions, so yeah, my fault there, but we're getting to it. Should have this done, and I can't wait to take it out for a quick little test ride. So moving on, we have all of the shift linkage installed. The two pieces there, those are very easy. They have quick little pins, 2 10 mils, transmission cross members in. All of the hard lines are all set. All of the electricals set. Also with this, we have this bolted in from the top. We have the entire interior back together. Now we are going to put on the inspection cover for the transmission. We are going to put on the front shield here, and then we are going to start with the drive shaft and exhaust, get everything buttoned up, get this thing off my lift. Don't forget, you're gonna have to do a little bit of bleeding. It's pretty easy. Some nice full clutch depressions and releases. Took maybe a minute. I have a full feel. This clutch feels amazing. All of the air sounds went away. So let's fire this girl up. Some lights, I have to clear those out. First gear. Wheels are moving. off all the fluids, clear the codes, make sure everything is set to go. Take this, I think we might do a little cleaning on it, who knows, we'll see. But we'll take it for a little test drive, get him some gas too. You saw that gauge. People are crazy. And make sure everything's good to go, nothing faults. Send this home. There it is. That is a McLeod dual disc clutch in a 2015 Challenger Hellcat. Like I said, this thing is bad to the bone.